Hello, IGNOU MA first year students. So, in this live session, we are going to discuss about the first chapter. The first chapter, Early Human Societies, of the 101 paper, MPI 101 paper, that is Ancient and Medieval Societies paper. So, this is going to be a very useful live session. We are going to do regular classes on IGNOU MA history for both first and second year. So, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you will get the notifications every day of the online classes that will happen for IGNOU MA history. So let's not waste much time, and let's start discussing the class. So in this class, we are going to discuss for the MA history first year, ancient and medieval societies paper, chapter 1, that is early human societies. So everyone is clear about it. Now let's start the class. So early human societies. So this live session is purely focused on the first chapter of ancient and medieval societies of MA history 101 paper. MA history first year 101 paper.
Hello, IGNOU
So
MA
101
first year
paper. So
students.
early human societies concept from the IGNOU MA history 101 paper. So this is a foundation chapter. It's a foundational look on how humans transition from biological evolution to cultural evolution and social complexity. All the details we are going to discuss in this live class: human transitions, biological evolution, cultural evolution, social evolutions, and first hominids to the rise of settled civilizations. So all these we are going to discuss in this chapter. This will be very helpful for your exam preparation also. So do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now let's see biological and cultural evolution. So what is biological and cultural evolution in the early human societies? The biological milestones. There are three milestones in biological evolution. In biological evolution, there are majorly three milestones. One is bipedalism. Bipedalism is waking upright. Bipedalism. Encephalization is increased brain capacity, and third one is development of the opposable thumb. So in biological evolution, these are the three important milestones: bipedalism, encephalization, development of the opposable thumb. These are the three important milestones of the biological evolution, and the definition of bipedalism is walking upright. Walking upright is the definition of bipedalism, and encephalization is the definition of encephalization is increased brain activity, and development of the opposable thumb is another milestone. And there are three cultural milestones as well. One is creation and use of tools. Creation and use of tools is one important milestone in cultural evolution. Control and use of fire, and development of symbolic language. These are the three important milestones in the cultural evolution. So this is very important because a question is expected on this. Explain the biological and cultural evolutions in the early human societies. Then you have to mention all these details. And there are another evolution process, Australopithecus. Australopithecus is the earliest tool users. So the earliest tool users were defined as Austra Australopithecus. Australopithecus are the earliest tool users, and Homo erectus. Homo erectus can be described as the ones who used the fire first and migrated out of Africa. So those who migrated from Africa and those who used the first fire, they were defined as Homo erectus. Homo erectus. These were Homo erectus category, and Homo sapiens and sapiens. Homo sapiens categories are those who are like modern human, who are considered as modern human, who lived 40,000 years ago, the great leap forward in tool technology. So these Homo sapiens, they are considered as modern humans who lived for more than over 40,000 years. They are also considered as great leap forward in tool technology. These people innovated a lot of tools. Homo sapiens were the ones who innovated a lot of modern tools, and they are considered as the fathers of tool technology, basically, in the early human societies. And Paleolithic societies, the hunter gatherer. So in Paleolithic societies, the people who lived in Paleolithic society were majorly hunter gatherers. So this is also considered as old stone age. Paleolithic age is also called as old stone age. 99% of human history comes under Paleolithic society only. So the life was dictated by environment. So the entire life was dependent upon environmental factors and the search for food during the Paleolithic society, that is old stone age. So here the society is like this, like band societies. like a small group of 20 to 50 people based on kingship ties. So a group of people like 20 to 50 people use it to form a small society, which is also called as band societies. And egalitarianism is something, there is no private property during this age. In old stone age, there is no concept of private property, there is minimal hierarchy, and leadership is based on skills and not the birthright or birth. Leadership is purely based on skills, and there is minimal hierarchy. So egalitarianism, this is called as egalitarianism. And subsistence is like modern research shows gathering roots, fruits, nuts provide the bulk of caloric intake, not just hunting. So in Paleolithic age, people did not focus only on the hunting. They not only focused on hunting, but they also focused on calories intake. They also focused on their health, their diet. Like they used it to eat roots, fruits, nuts, etc., to maintain the calories. So that level of knowledge was there to people in the Paleolithic society. So they had that minimal knowledge basically. And division of labor, likely based on age and sex. So the division of labor, like if someone wants to work, it is purely based on the age and their gender, but not necessarily unequal in social status. There is no social status at all during the Paleolithic society. There is no private property, there is less hierarchy, and there is no social status. It's all about living together. It's all about living together, different sets of people living together in the Paleolithic society, that is old stone age. And the Mesolithic transition, so from Paleolithic age, the next transition was Mesolithic transition. This is called as the after the end of Palestine, after the end of ice age around 10,000 BC. It led to Hulk in a warmer climate. So after the end of ice age, the temperature gradually changed to warmer conditions, fundamentally changed. And human dietary conditions, human diets, their nutrition status, everything changed based on the changing climatic conditions. So there are few important points here. Microliths is like considered as very small and sharp stone tool hafted onto wood or bone to make spears and arrows. So during Mesolithic age, people used microliths, like small sharp stone tools. They used these tools for as for hunting. Majorly, they used these tools to prepare arrows, bow and arrows, everything. And it's a major technological leap. So this is a major technological leap. Like sharp stone tools were used during Mesolithic age. And broad spectrum revolution. Humans began eating a wider variety of food that includes fish, birds, smaller mammals, reducing dependence on large game. So in Mesolithic age, the food habits were also changed. Based on the changing climatic conditions and interest, people started eating a variety of foods like fish, birds, smaller mammals. Like dependency on large animals has decreased during this time. And semi-sedentism. In resource-rich areas like riverbanks, humans began staying in one place for longer periods, precursor to permanent settlement. So in Mesolithic age, people majorly started looking for permanent settlement rather than being in nomads. Nomads means a person who changes from one place to another place frequently are called as nomads. So instead of focusing on nomadic life during the Mesolithic age, people started looking for permanent settlements, and majorly they looked for their permanent settlement in the river banks basically, because in the river banks the resources are rich. So wherever the resources are rich, people started looking for permanent settlement over there. So there was no nomadic life in Mesolithic age. But in the Paleolithic age, in the first age, Paleolithic age, people were nomads. They used to travel from one place to another, depending on the season and other conditions, and depending on the availability of food, etc. But in Mesolithic age, it was more like permanent settlement. And the Neolithic revolution, food producers. So Neolithic age is a major leap in the early human societies where food production began. So people started agriculture. People started to produce their own food, like agriculture, coined by V. Gordon Chale. So the word Neolithic revolution, Neolithic was coined by Gordon Chale. This term described the monumental shift. So there is a complete shift from food gathering to production. So in Paleolithic age, people gathered food. In Mesolithic age also people gathered food, but in Neolithic age, rather than gathering food, people majorly focused on food production. So they started domestication basically. They selective breeding of plants. They started breeding of plants like wheat, barley, and animals, sheep, goats for reliable food supply. So they started domesticating animals and they started cultivation as well. Majorly wheat and barley during the Neolithic age. And sedentism. They always looked for permanent settlement. because they started cultivation. So when they started cultivation, automatically they should have permanent settlement. So in Neolithic age, people looked for more permanent settlement, just like Paleolithic age. It was better than Paleolithic actually. And technology, they invented pottery to store surplus grain, polished stone tools, and weaving. So weaving also started in the Neolithic age also. So weaving is something that was innovated during the Neolithic age, and people started preparing pottery for preserving food and all in the pots and all. All these innovations came in Neolithic age only. So if you observe the difference between Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and Neolithic age, Neolithic is the most advanced stage where people focused more on food production rather than food gathering, and they come and they focused on permanent settlement rather than being nomads basically. Instead of roaming from one place to another place, they look for permanent settlements because they have to do cultivation also. So that's why they did domestication of animals. They started breeding plants. They started innovating pottery and all to store food and all, and they innovated weeding also to wear clothes and all. So this is Neolithic, and the social consequences of Neolithic revolution. So because of Neolithic emergence, the population has rapidly increased because there was a stable food supply, because people started cultivation, they started domesticating animals like sheep and goat. So automatically food supply is there, because of which larger families increased and growing communities increased, because of which the population has increased. So in the first and second ages, Paleolithic and Mesolithic age, there was no population growth because there was no stable food. People used to hunt for food. There was no proper nutrition levels. But in Neolithic age, everything improved. So population increased, stable families started, and communities also increased. And the concept of property. For the first time, people started owning lands in the Neolithic age. But in the first two ages, there was nothing like private property. There was nothing like social status. But social status came into existence, and then basically people started owning their property, and revolutionary ideas started. Everything started in Neolithic age. So major consequences and total stratification. The society was divided as per the social status in Neolithic age, where potters, priests, builders, all people were divided as per their caste, color, creed, everything. So, but in the Mesolithic age and Paleolithic age, there was nothing like social status. So automatically, the social status also started during the uh, during this age, during the Neolithic age, and early arts and belief systems. So early human societies developed complex symbolic lives beyond mere survival. So cave paintings. So cave paintings also started during these earlier societies. So Lascaux, France, and Bhimbetica likely linked to hunting magic. So how they use it to hunt, how they use it to perform rituals, superstitious beliefs, magic rituals, semastic practices, all these things they incarved in the caves, basically, the early society people. And the famous caves are Lascaux located in France, and Bimbetka in India, where you will find all these cave paintings of the early societies and burial practices. The inclusion of grave goods, tools, jewelry suggest early belief in the afterlife of spiritual world. So the burial practices also came into existence in the early society. They people figured out different burial practices, like in the grave. In the grave, they used it to put tools. They used it to put jewelry because they always believed afterlife. So in early society, humans always believed afterlife and a spiritual world. And Venus figurines, small female statues interpreted as fertility symbols. So in early societies, people installed female statues which are called as Venus figurines. They considered these as fertility symbols or evidence of mother goddess worship. And detailed comparison, lower Paleolithic, major tools were hand axes and choppers, and the society was organized into small bands, and primary economy was hunting. And Middle Paleolithic, small tools came, scrapers came into existence. There were small nomadic kinship groups, and there was hunting and gathering in Middle Paleolithic also. But in Upper Paleolithic age, there was specialized hunting. Blade tools were used, bone tools were used, and large bands. People were divided into large bands, and art forms were also came into existence. And Mesolithic age, majorly microliths were used like sharp tools, and people were semi-nomadic. They always looked for permanent settlement, and fishing was one major economy source. And in Neolithic age, agriculture, everything improved. Polished cells, pottery, and people started living in settled villages. So everything came into existence during this particular age. And key archaeological sites. So you need to remember these key archaeological sites of the early human societies. Oduwai Gorge. Oduwai Gorge is located in Africa. It is one of the most important Paleolithic sites. It gives evidence of early human tools and all. And Megra, which is located in Pakistan, South Asia, Pakistan, it is one of the earliest Neolithic sites, basically. And Lascaux, that I already discussed, it's located in France. It's upper Paleolithic related paintings and all you can see in Lascaux cave. And Bimbetaka is also like rock shelters, which is a prehistoric cave where multiple humans related paintings you can see here of Paleolithic age and Neolithic age, basically. So this is the class for MA history, unit 1, first year unit 1 of ancient and medieval societies. We hope this session is helpful. So do like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will be uploading more and more classes from time to time. So do like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay tuned to Srimata Education for more IGNOU classes. Thank you.